We are back. Sam Seder, Emma Vigland on the Majority Report. Joining us, Janek Ambros, the filmmaker of Mondo Hollywoodland. You can see an ad for it right there.
Whoa.
And Matt Strackmine, the letter hack, who actually created this entire comic based upon the film. All right, let's just get right down to the burning question. Matt, we'll start with you. What is the letter hack?
Oh, good question. The letter hack is a prolific letter writer, and particularly with comic books. What little fame I have is from being a huge nerd and getting a lot of letters published that I would write to comic book editors. So in the back of the book, they have a letter column, and I was in there weekly for years.
Oh, that's interesting. I find it hard to believe that anybody who's making comic books is really not getting their fame from being a huge nerd. But leaving that aside, all right, Janek, let's start with you. The film comes out in 2019. Tell us a little bit about the film. It looks, and I haven't seen the film yet, but I'm inspired now by the comic book to go watch it. It looks insane.
Yeah, it's totally insane. Yeah.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Elaborate just a little bit more than that.
It's about a politically confused but groovy mushrooms dealer who traverses through Hollywood and kind of encounters all these goofy characters to find the meaning of the word Mondo. So it kind of has this like kind of inspired by like John Waters, Robert Downey Sr. kind of experimental psychedelic film.
Mm.
Yeah, there was like a quality of like Putney Swope in some of the.
I'm a huge Putney Swope fan. Yeah.
Yeah, that I saw in like in the previews, and when I see Mondo for whatever reason, I always think of Michael O'Donoghue, who was a Saturday Night Live writer. Maybe you don't know him. I guess I mean I'm dating myself. He was in the '70s, and his film you can find it. I think it's probably on YouTube. But it was Mr. Mike's Mondo video, and it's nuts. But it's worth checking out. All right. So Matt, what inspired you to make a comic book? I mean, usually it goes the other way.
Yeah. Well, in this case, so you guys remember over Halloween, I did all of those spoofs of you guys as the Scooby-Doo gang.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, he saw those, reached out to me, and said, that would be great for the adaptation of my movie. Are you in? I couldn't accept the job right away because I had, other obligations. So I watched the trailer for it, and I was immediately like hooked. So I came up with some test pages, sent them off. The rest is history. I made the comic. I don't know, what was it? Like 4 or 5 weeks later, something like that.
I got really lucky because like Twitter scares me. I don't like Twitter. I usually just like look at hockey highlights, and then I just stumbled.
Good man.
Yeah, I'm a huge Devils fan, by the way. Not
get off, get out of here. Although you have that with Bradley, but anyway, go on.
You guys will have your TV show, or your sports show about the Devils winning the Stanley Cup this June. So.
Whoa!
Not if they have to face the Rangers in the first round. Anyway, go on.
We've gotten sidetracked.
The algorithm kind of brought me to Matt, and I got really lucky, and I just love his work. And I was just like, what is this? And I reached out to him, and I sent him the movie, and I was just shocked he responded to it because it's a very odd movie, and then he just did an amazing job. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than just it was like magic.
Well, Janek, why did you want to do that? It's cool, but like, what made you think that like I've made the movie, now it needs to be a comic book?
Well, it's one of those things where it was like 5 years ago when I was trying to make some of my other movies, I had like a Francis Perkins biopic, and like executives were like, who the hell wants to watch a movie about Social Security, that kind of shit. Yeah, exactly. I'm like one guy.
She grew up in Worcester. She went to Classical High, which is where my folks went, actually, high school. So
there's a scene in Worcester in the script. But anyway, I was kind of hitting a wall, and I made this movie for like $10,000. I got some good advice from I kept bothering Francis Ford Coppola's lawyer like over every month. I was like, can I get his advice? Finally, I got a hold of him, and he was like, make a movie with an iPhone. So I was like, okay. So I just kind of made this crazy film. And, it's a movie like this has a hard time, penetrating an audience.
Right.
So it's just kind of this, I wanted to kind of keep this life cycle of the movie. And I figured, a graphic novel would be a cool way to kind of like reignite it a little bit for an audience. And like I said, Matt just did like magic. I don't even know. It was bizarre to witness because he just did it. And it was just like, it was a bizarre, it was a great experience,
Well,
okay, good. Sorry.
Well, I was going to say, just in terms of movies and comic book adaptations, not every comic book needs to be a movie. I think a lot of people would disagree, but I would say that every movie could be a comic book. That's not a problem. Like adapting something that already exists, there's your pre-visualization. So normally I make a comic book based off a script, and 50% of that is me wondering, okay, they've described some of this, but for the most part, what's this going to look like? Well, here's the movie. The whole thing is right there in front of me. I didn't have to think at all. So it was just drawing what I saw on the screen. And that really did give me a leg up. It was unconventional compared to normal, but, it expedited the process.
In that process, were there places where you took like a little bit, like you reinterpreted some stuff and maybe like, tried to either emotionally fit a different medium or reinterpret it? People do this with plays all the time. Like there's an Ibsen play that was just rewritten that's on Broadway right now that, more or less sort of updates it in different ways, stages it in a different way. Was there any of that was involved in that? And if so, like where and how?
Well, yeah, totally. First thing I did was I made a list of timestamps and tried to translate that into pages. So it was like, there's a lot in the movie. It's very fast paced. So like a few seconds could be several pages. So I had to really like think about it, right? And I watched a movie maybe like 12 times just in that initial stage of trying to break it out by page and then by panel. And it ended up being like 90 pages long, which was not practical. So we got on the phone and talked about it really quickly, and didn't talk about it that long at all, which I thought there'd be more of an editorial process, but we sort of both saw eye to eye right away on what should stay in and what could be cut. And so that's cool because the movie and the comic book are not like redundant. Like you could read it or watch it and have a unique experience. They stand on their own. But the film is very, Mondo, right? That's just like the ultimate word. I don't want to give any
What
spoilers.
does that mean?
Mondo,
I'm joking. I was joking. I was joking, but that was how I was going to open up the interview.
It is actually a subgenre of exploitation film. Normally, you could probably describe it better than me, but it's usually like a pseudo documentary style.
Yeah, there's the Mondo's a subgenre, and it's very crass. This was like very like late 60s, 70s. And I decided it's not like that. Like it's not like very crass and like just kind of like crazy exploitation. Like people kind of joke it's like a wholesome drug movie because like I didn't go this route of like, some of that kind of weird, Mondo's a weird genre. And some like Mondo purists are like, there's not enough like sex and nudity and like weird stuff. And I don't know. I didn't really have like a lot of interest in doing that. So I like I said, people kind of call it like a wholesome, drug conspiracy movie. So it's kind of, it doesn't have, it's got some of those like Mondo purist elements to it.
But keeping with the theme that it didn't have to be like traditional or conventional, those are the best words I can think to use. I was able to put scenes on top of each other. Certain pages can be read a few different ways. But by the time you get to the end of the page, you'll understand what's happening in the story. And so to answer your original question, like, yeah, there were times where I had to think it wasn't a compromise as much as it was a creative license to combine scenes over top of each other. And so when you read the comic, you may be like, wait a minute, what's going on here at first? And then like I say, by the end of the page, you'll understand exactly what's happened.
Interesting. And so Janek, was there any like, and you know, you can tell us, was there any, like when you saw it, were you like, oh, darn it, like I didn't want this interpreted that way, or was it that? No, there was none of that.
It was amazing because there's
Matt,
like,
we won't tell Matt.
there's 8 or 9 3-act structures in the movie because it's an ensemble, kind of like an Altman movie where it's like, you know,
That was the other thing. It reminded me of The Player a little bit, just from the from the trailer. There was just a quality.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time. But yeah, just kind of like shortcuts and stuff like that, where it's like there's so many 3-act structures, and somehow when I spoke to Matt, he like like it takes a lot of like dissection because like it's a goofy movie. Like I'm not trying to say that's like this complicated writing process, though it was. And Marcus Hart, who's a co-writer on it, is also a big Majority Report fan, I should say.
Oh, wow.
So me, him, and Chris Blim, who's also the star and producer, we kind of made this madness where like we would write and shoot at the same time. So like I remember being at a bar and a car exploded out on the street. So I ran with my cell phone and I just shot it. And then we wrote that into the Antifa stuff. So like there was this kind of really complicated but organized chaos, and Matt just understood it immediately. Like I was really just shocked because it's like it's one thing to be like, oh, I like it, it was fun, it was stylistic and gonzo, whatever, but he understood it all in like one conversation. He understood that all. So I remember him pitching me the idea of like, and I just go, do whatever you want. I mean, so I was just really shocked by his ability to kind of understand what we were trying to do because it is such a bizarre movie. So I'm still kind of, stressed. So no, there was zero issues other than like a line of dialogue here. But like, no, I was so thrilled when I was looking at the pages he was making. I was just like, keep going. I don't know, just do whatever.
It's funny when you said shortcuts, it reminds me that I think it was actually also Altman did Shortcuts, which also was very much about like that, just sort of out and around. I think it was LA, right? I mean, it was
LA. Yeah. And then Paul Thomas Anderson did Magnolia, which is a kind of derivative work of that. And it kind of has this just constant cycle of characters going in this chaotic, frenetic way. But like, there's, like I said, there's some thought and structure behind it. But first and foremost, it's silly and fun.
So I guess I have two. Well, Matt, are you thinking about doing this for other movies? And then
Sure.
and then are you guys planning like? Is there a future collaboration here where the animation? I don't want to put any pressure on you guys. I'm just curious what's next here.
Oh, we are. Yeah, we're already talking about it. That's in the works as we speak. There's like I said, any movie could be a comic. Reach out, if anybody wants to make their movie into a comic, we can do that. And my thing is, I did all of the adaptation. I did all the lettering, the layouts, all the art, the pencils, the inks, and the coloring. I'm one-stop shop. I used to art direct for comic books, and I used to edit for comic books. So being able to like jump in and do any one aspect or all of them is totally my wheelhouse. So but we weren't even done with this, and we were already talking about the next project, and we've got a few options, and I think we're honing in on one, but more on that.
Maybe we can do a Francis Perkins graphic novel.
Honestly, that would be pretty good.
That would be great.
Pretty
actually.
cool.
That would be really cool. It really is neat. Where can people can see? Well, let's start with this. Where can people buy the? Oh, well, let me ask you this, Janek. In what order would you like if I'm to consume both of these? What order? Have you given any thought to like what's the best experience to do the graphic novel first or the movie first?
Whatever the person wants to do. I don't think there's a specific way to do it. I think it's kind of neat to have the graphic novel first, but I also think the movie maybe makes more sense. But I think I'm so curious to see what it's like to read that and then watch the movie. So either way, I mean, I think it's chill either way.
My wife definitely she's my go-to proofreader most of the time. She's an educator, so I always rely on her. So she read it and then said, I got to watch the movie. So she like dropped everything, watched the movie after that, and she was like, oh wow. I mean, you did such a good job adapting it, but it really is its own unique experience.
She liked the movie?
Oh yeah, loved it.
Is it the first time you guys have found that out? It's good. We're bringing you guys together. Here it is. Here is the comic, and we'll put up a link.
Yeah.
We'll obviously post a link. This is where you can buy it.
That's CWS Bookstore.
Super cool. And
yeah, that stands for Comics Wellspring. They're out of Plymouth, Michigan, so it's an American-made product. Those folks are fantastic. They printed the book. They also crux.
It's beautiful. It really is beautiful.
Thank you so much. Yeah, they do a great job, and they're great for independent creators like us because the crux of the industry has always been distribution. So they'll print the book and warehouse it, and so retailers and readers alike can just go to cwsbookstore.com, look for Mondo Hollywoodland, and you can get a physical or digital version of it. But since we're big fans of the show and we met through like the community, so out of appreciation for having us on, we have a discount code that folks should use, and you can get 70% off the physical book.
Wait, what? 70% off?
Yeah, for
That's
30
too
days.
Much. That's too much, Matt.
You guys went to the Sam Cedar School of Business.
Well, if you want the digital copy, if you can't wait for the physical copy to show up, you can get that for $6. But 70% off the physical book for the next 30 days if you use majority at checkout.
You know what I would do? I would get the 70% off, and then I'd buy the digital too. That's what I would do.
There you go.
Personally.
Many people are saying.
That's the way I roll. I
They
don't
make good gifts.
I have redundancy. That's my. And Janek, where can we watch the movie?
Amazon Prime. It's streaming. So if you have Prime, you can just watch it for free. I think the other question though is where can we see Bad Situationalist?
Ooh. Bad Situationist.
I met Mark Maron at a screening, and I mentioned that movie, and I think another one of them, and he looked at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" Like
yeah,
how do you know what these are? Who are you? Just looked at me kind of like, what?
Bad Situationist is got some issues that
we should do a double feature. This is one of my points.
So many issues, but maybe sometime in the future. But pilot season and Caboose is available on iTunes, and pilot season I got to get out there too. So yeah, maybe we'll get
one of these days.
Maybe we'll get a comic made of it. Maybe a Bad Situationist as a comic would actually be pretty insane. That would actually be pretty insane. All right, so Amazon Prime, we can watch, and that's it, or that's kind of the go-to place. Just because you don't have to pay. If you have Prime, you don't have to pay. And then there's it's on Vimeo too. And then Sam, thanks for when I was this time last year, I was on the border. I was in Ukraine, and you gave out the address for the refugees. So I appreciate that. Oh, did you IM?
Yeah, I remember I was there,
that.
and it was like this week last year. It was
wow.
or maybe last week last year, but yeah, I appreciate that. That was helpful.
Amazing. Well, guys, congratulations. Really looks great. I can't wait to both. I've read the comic, but I can't wait to read the comic again and watch the film now. As soon as I'm allowed to watch a movie that doesn't involve like kids themes. Matt Strackvine and Janek Ambros, thanks so much for your time today, guys. Really appreciate it. We'll put links to all this in the podcast and YouTube and on the website. Thanks again, guys.
Cool.
Thanks,
guys. Bye.
All right, folks, we're going to head into the fun half of the program, wherein we will take some IMs, and we may take your calls. I'm not sure. I'm not going to promise because I always overpromise, and now I'm going to try and manage expectations. But we got a couple of clips. Just a reminder, it is your support that makes this show possible. You can become a member at jointhemajorityreport.com. When you do, you not only help this show survive and thrive, but you also get the half free of commercials, and you get you can IM us on the app during the fun half, all sorts of, well, that's basically all the bonus right there. Emma, ESVN.
Yeah, we've been discussing the Aaron Rodgers endless drama, the Lamar Jackson contract negotiations, and Will from Indiana, our ESVN correspondent on college basketball, called in and gave us a rundown. I know your brackets are probably already filled out by now, but you can fill out other, shortened brackets at this point, I think, even though, wow, were there some upsets yesterday, Bradley. But youtube.com/ESVN show, check it out.
Matt.
Can't believe Princeton won. Sorry.
Yeah, I don't care about college basketball.
Whoa, really? I find that
Look,
surprising.
I don't care about college basketball that much either, just because I prefer my players to get paid.
Yeah, and to be adults and professional. But, I mean, hopefully there's some buzzer beaters or something. But on Left Reckoning, patreon.com/Left Reckoning, talking to Jamie Peck about Cop City and where we're at 3 years post George Floyd. Patreon.com/Left.
She's down there now, right? Is that right?
She's doing videos. She's been talking to people about it.
Oh, I see.
And yeah,
I thought she was down there.
maybe she was down there. I don't believe she's down there right now, but we'll find out.
Okay, I thought somebody just sent me that over the weekend, or not over the weekend.
No, but she was, right? Yeah. So.
Well, check it out. Matlack Media, folks. See you in the fun half.
You are in for it.
All right, folks. 646-257-3920. See you in the fun half.
Are you ready?
Who sent us this?
Alpha males are back. Boy is back. And the alpha males are back.
Just as delicious as you could imagine.
The alpha males are back. Boy is back. And the alpha males are back.
Just want to degrade the white man.
Alpha males are back.
I take all of it in my throat.
Alpha males are back.
Snowflake says what?
The alpha males are back.
You are a madman.
And the alpha males are back.
Oh no, Sam Seder! What a fucking nightmare!
Bring back the DJ.
Yeah, or a couple of them. Just put them in rotation.
DJ Janek.
Well, the problem with those is they're like 45 seconds long, so I don't know if they're enough of a break.
That's fucking nonsense. You see white people doing drugs, they look worse than normal white people, and all white people look disgusting.
And the alpha males
Psych. Fuck them.
Snowflake says what? Snowflake says what?
A hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank. Okay, I'm making stupid money. Hell of a lot of bank. A hell of a lot of bank. All lives matter.
Have you tried doing an impression on a college campus?
I think that there's no reason why reasonable people across the divide can't all agree with this. Psych.
and the alpha males are back. And the Africans are black African, and the alpha males are black. And the Africans are back.
When you see Donald Trump out there, doesn't a little part of you think that America deserves to be taken over by jihadists? Keeping it 100. Can't knock the hustle. Come on, fuck 'em. Things I do for the bigger game plan. By the way, it's my birthday. Happy birthday to me, Jew boy.
I have a thought experiment for you.
And the alpha males are back. Africans are black. Alpha males are black. Africans are back.
Come on. Come on. Someone needs to pay the price for blasphemy around here.
I am a total pussy.
We are back. It's the fun half of the program. Sam Seder, Emma Vigeland, Matt, Bradley, you listening,
all of
watching.
us.
Tucker lying. If nothing else, Ben Shapiro is consistent. He came to the University of Michigan when I was a student. My roommate went to his talk and asked about abandoning school lunch programs. He said the same horseshit about feeding children should be a parent's number one priority, feeding them before yourself. And if that parent fails to do so, the state should step in and essentially abduct the children from their parents.
It's
demonic.
It's personal pathology, not because we played him yesterday saying that free school lunches would not do anything to alleviate child poverty. Because
Except
for it obviously would.
Except for, yes, it is absolutely obvious that it would. And how does this genius expect us to be aware that we'll catch some.